He's not focused on being stoic in order to kind of be strong amongst other men. He's focused on being emotional because he wants to connect emotionally to the women in the room. Hey guys, Hector Castillo Poppy from girlschase.com. Today I want to start the first part of the two-part series, How to Become a Lover of Women. Being a lover is something that we've talked about a lot on the Girl Chase site. I've mentioned it many times in various ways over many different videos on this channel. I've also talked about being an alpha male as well, and I think that they're both important, and I want you to be both. But this video and the next video are going to be about specifically becoming a lover of women and what that means and the distinction between an alpha male and a lover. The closest it came to this was in the video about becoming a romance hero, and I'll put that video in the link in the description below if you want a more primer or you want to go more into the subject before you or after you watch this. Now, being an alpha male and being a lover, I'm going to be using generalities. I know a lot of people, alpha male has been thrown 1,000 different ways and everyone has a different definition, and red pill means 10 different things now. So I'm going to be using some stereotypes and some generalities that I believe are somewhat accurate. You know, of course you might just say, well, I would include that in this, and I get it. But there is a distinction between being an alpha male and a lover of women, because you can be a lover of women without being an alpha male and having those traits, and you can also be an alpha male without having lover traits. I know men who are very, very masculine, very strong, physically, mentally, spiritually, and they are well respected by other men. They're leaders and they are excellent in things that are important to other men. And I know that some of these men are not so great with women. Now, women do appreciate them and sometimes lust after them because of their success in these fields, because it's just attractive to be successful and to be strong. But they're not on the level of a lover, someone who specifically knows how women think and feel and can connect to them on an emotional and sexual level that the alpha male can't. In the same way, I know men who are lovers of women who do really well with women, but they're not so great around other men or in maybe normal social situations. They're a bit eccentric, they're a bit strange. They don't know how to connect with other men or how to compete with men in certain environments that are traditionally masculine. In sports, or, you know, being the toughest guy in the room, or being a good leader, or knowing how to be the center of attention in the room. They are good with women, but maybe lack. Some men, if they were to make a video, a lot of people in the red pill would go, oh, he's a bitch, or oh, he's such a, you know, feminine woman, or oh my God, he's a simp because he likes women so much. And there would be a disconnect between him and a certain demographic that focuses on being an alpha male. That's what I'm talking about. So I want to highlight some of the attributes and some of the behaviors that are alpha male and some of that are lover, and why I want you to focus on being a lover. Even though you should be both, this series is about being a lover of women and why that is a unique power when it comes to being successful with women and seducing women and having relationships with them. So an alpha male is about being the best among men. If you want to put it one way, it's about being a fighter. Not necessarily a fighter, but a fighter in the sense that you're achieving success through outcompeting other men. Maybe it's through intimidation if, you know, you're that kind of caricature alpha male and kind of a douchebag, but still successful to some degree. But you can be a very likable, cool, charismatic alpha male who cares about other people, but he's still successful because he knows how to bring others to his side, and he knows how to gain allies, and he knows how to make friends with men. That is a specifically male competition. The lover of women, the lover, is more focused on the woman herself, right? So in a room, the alpha male is going to be either respected or feared or some combination of both by the other men in the room, and that's going to determine their behavior towards him. It could be fear, it could be submission, it could just be love and admiration and respect and camaraderie and see him as a peer. But he has some relationship with those men, and that elevates him in the eyes of a few or many of the people in the room. And if you have reputation is just a a combination of all of the people in that room or in that circle or in that town or in that city or the world. That's your reputation. It's a combination of all the individual feelings towards that person. So his status, his reputation, his place on the social totem pole, because there are social ranks, there are dominance hierarchies. We are not evolved beyond this. We are not living in a 100% egalitarian society, and we never will. There will always be ranks depending on some characteristics, and a lot of it will be a meritocracy. You've earned your status because of your charisma, or because of your strength, or because of your achievements, or your ability to charm others, right? But that would be the charm would be a little bit more on the lover side. So an alpha male is a fighter. He gains attention and attraction through basically being at the top of other men. He also has some traits that, you know, he might be more stoic. He might be more placid with his expressions, right? I'm here in Eastern Europe, so the men here, I mean, there's a lot of pussy boys, but if the man is definitely on the more masculine side here in Eastern Europe, you see such a extreme version of it. They're very, very relaxed. They're very, it seems they're very emotionless sometimes. Of course they're not, but they come off that way. And they're very like, very brutish, very short and very unemotional, stoic, right? And so they, obviously it's important to them to be centered and calm and strong and in control. A lover, on the other hand, he doesn't have these characteristics, or he might, but they are expressed in different ways. So his general behavior is not going to be so much stoic. It's going to be more emotional. It's going to be, it may not be flamboyant, right? You can have an introverted lover of women. I'm not saying you have to be some gregarious, off the walls, charming every girl and being a Romeo, right? There's different ways to be a lover. But he's more focused on the emotional aspect. He's not focused on being stoic in order to kind of be strong amongst other men. He's focused on being emotional because he wants to connect emotionally to the women in the room. He's not so focused on either competing with or finding camaraderie with the other men. He's focused on the woman herself, the one woman or the many women that he is attracted to. He's not even worried about his status among the other men. It's a background of background importance to him. He is so more emotional. He's more focused on charisma. He's more focused on seductiveness, being sexy, right? Because if you're being an alpha male, if you're always being sexual, your energy kind of will be widespread. And because I've seen that happen with some guys who are more on the lover, like sometimes guys can think they might be gay, or their sexual energy is too widespread. It's like they have a shotgun of sexual energy, whereas the alpha male is a little bit more controlled with the way he expresses his emotions. With the lover, he's just, you can taste his sexual energy in the air. You can feel like there's an electricity. There's something in the way that he looks at women or at people in general. And sometimes, like I said, it almost feel like men are going to be like, oh, you know, I kind of feel like you have a sexual energy in my direction, because I've been asked sometimes, you know, in the past, I feel like, are you gay? You know, do you have this like sexual energy? And then I realized, I'm like, okay, maybe I was just like too much in my sexual mood when it came, you know, I was talking to this girl and then talking to this guy. But a lover of women, because he's always wearing that sexuality and that emotionality on his sleeves and on his face, he might be more open. I'm not saying he's going to be, we're definitely going in a certain direction. I'm not saying he's going to be bisexual, right? But what I'm trying to say is his sexual energy is just more open. I'll just say it that way, and you can interpret it as you want. And so because he's focused on this emotional aspect, he might come off more feminine. Not necessarily gay, not necessarily, but definitely more feminine. Because in order to connect with these women, he's going to be having to tap into that energy within himself. He has to, in order to find that energy in her, he has to show it like two lights flaring and recognizing each other, right? So he learned the art of how women work, and that grew within himself some sort of woman energy, right? But he's gonna have his masculinity, of course, and that's gonna be very important in the second video. But his emotionality will make him to some extent maybe not effeminate, but much more understanding of feminine energy and more focused on that feminine energy. And because his attention and his care is more skewed towards that feminine emotionality, he's going to sometimes lack or not be focused on the masculine competition or the masculine brotherhood. He's not worried about hanging out with the bros. He's not worried about having a good time with them and partying. He's specifically there in order to have fun with the girls. This happened, later I started to see it happen in my in university. In the beginning, I was very flirty with girls but I had fun with my bros, and I was more focused on having a good time and partying and engaging in that masculinity and that masculine fun. But as I went forward in my career and started caring more about women and being focused more on seduction and wanting to spend more time around them, I saw that some of my friends would sometimes get upset or disappointed with me when we go out because they want to hang out with the bros. And I would go out with this attitude of, look, I want to fuck girls. I want to hang out with girls. Why are you guys sitting around, drinking your beers? I see you looking at all the girls, right? So you have the same desires as me, but you're so focused on it. And I think sometimes they were hiding their desires for women and masking it as we wanted to hang out with the bros, which is fine. I mean, it's totally fucking fun to hang out with your homies, but I was more focused on being with the girls. And I saw that there became a disconnect in my last few years of university with my male friends and with my fraternity brothers. I could feel like I was going on a different path than them. And so when you do become more of a lover, maybe you're going to lose a little bit of that, but there's going to be a reward. And it's that you're going to become, well, if you want to get good with women, being an alpha male is going to work, right? You're going to get status. You're going to be seen as masculine, and women are definitely attracted to masculinity. I don't want that to be misunderstood. I'm sure some people are still going to watch this and think I'm suggesting you become a fucking fairy, but I hope that you're understanding that what we're going to be doing is focusing on women. We do like women, right? So that's the center of this, right? And that's going to be the big part of the second video. The lover wants to be with women, and he's not afraid to say he doesn't feel like a simp spending so much time with women. He doesn't feel like a beta. He's not afraid to be romantic. He's not afraid to be overly emotional. He's gonna learn how to channel it properly, and he's not gonna fully become a woman. That's not the goal. But when you learn in art, you're gonna have to drown in it a little bit, and you're gonna have to let it consume you to a certain extent, and then you're gonna have to control it. But you are going to have to dive deep into it in order to learn its nature. And that's what a lover does. He dives deep into the divine feminine, if you want to put it that way, and allows it to change his nature and to make his energy more feminine without totally transforming into a woman, and then understanding what that relationship between the masculine and the feminine, how that works. And that's going to give him it's going to give you like a vibe, an energy, an attraction, a spark. The way that women react to lovers is very, very different than they react to the alphas. The alphas, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, the Sylvester Stallones, the Rocks, all the mans, right? An alpha male is a man's man. A lover is a woman's man. The alpha males, they get tons of female attention, they get laid plenty. That's fine, it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, it's a valid strategy. But the lover, in my experience, he affects women on a very, very different level, and they react to him very differently, and they bring him into their worlds on a different level, more openly, because it's almost like he's not one of the girls, right? But he knows the secret password at the door. And they let him in, and they let him come play, but he still has his dick, and he still has his sexual energy. And the women there who are attracted to him beyond just the understanding level and on the sexual level or on the romantic level, he's going to get with them, in my experience, much faster and have relationships that are much deeper because he understands them on a deeper level. So in the second video, we're gonna learn more specifically how to become a lover of women. And in becoming a lover, we are going to dive into that feminine energy but still come at it with our masculine essence, and then find the way that you can unite the two energies and become a successful dater and seducer and romancer and lover, and have far more relationships and sex or friendships than you could have, in my experience, if you were just an alpha male. You should become both an alpha male and a lover, but becoming a lover is a very different animal. I'm going to teach you how to become that animal. Okay, so stay tuned for part number 2. This is Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao.